So a lot of you guys know that I like to play Town Star, which is on the Gala Games network, has nothing to do with Algorand or H-Bar. It's a fun game. I just finished up the Pretend tournament in anticipation of the tournament coming up tomorrow. And they've been doing Mayhem, which there's a lot of games to be played. And it's one of the first play to earn games that I tried. I think as a play to earn game, it's been something of a failure and kind of a lesson for the community. And so we're going to talk about that today. But I still think it's a good game, and I want to talk about the good points of Town Star and some of the challenges, some of the bad points, some of the things that frustrate me about the game, but also why I keep playing it. So we'll go through some of that. So some of the good stuff is for those. Well, sure, just to start off with, for those who don't know, Town Star is basically like a farming game. It's actually developed by the same company that developed Farmville for Facebook and Farmville 2, I think, back in the day. But what's cool about it is it's kind of a cash flow simulator. So you actually play. You not only have to farm and sell crops, but everything costs money to run. So it's a lot like a business simulator where you have to have enough cash flow coming in that to cover all your expenses. So you have to be careful about how you scale your farm. You can't scale too fast or you just run out of money. And it's from that aspect, it's a really good game. It's unique. I can't say I can't find a lot of other games that I point to and say, oh, it's just like this or that. They're trying something different, and I really appreciate that about Town Star. So when I say my criticisms, understand that it comes from a place of starting that this game, the reason I criticize it is because I still play the game because I still think it's a good game and there's a lot of potential there. And I think some of that potential is being wasted by bad management. But to start off with some of the good, the persistent town is now working. So this is a game that you don't just like play it for 10 minutes. It's kind of like, especially if you're doing one of the competitions, you pretty much have to run it the entire time. And if without this new feature that's now on, that means you have to basically keep your computer on. And that's annoying to me. I hate just thinking that I'm wasting all that energy playing a game. Plus anything that happens, if something happens on your computer, which happens a lot, it just shuts the game down, pauses the game, and then you think you're making progress and then you're not. Well, the persistent town feature, which is part of the Godot game engine, allows that to keep running, which is really, really cool. It means it runs in the background, so you can have your game going while you're away doing something else. You don't have to have it on the whole time, and you can just pull it up to check on it, build new stuff, and then let it run. I think that's that's one of the biggest features that was supposed to come with the new Godot engine version, which has been live since May. It was live for May Mayhem for everybody. It was earlier for early adopters. So that's a great thing. By the way, this game is completely free to play. If you want to just play it, you don't have to pay any money. You don't have to buy any NFTs to play it, which I really like that aspect as well. Speaking of, it's actually pretty easy to earn free NFTs, especially through the May Mayhem competitions, which went from the beginning of the since the beginning of May to, I think technically we're still in May Mayhem, or it may have just cut off. It's hard to say because they've been having competitions every week, and you can earn by getting in the top 1,200, which is going to be pretty hard if you're a non-NFT playing person. Not impossible. I think you could do it without it, but it's pretty tough. But there's a lot of other ways to earn free NFTs. Just for playing, you earn NFTs that help you in the game. You can earn them, and they are sellable. You could go them on OpenSea, but also you can just use them, which is pretty neat. I actually earned some Gala too, just from their May Mayhem. You just had to complete certain conditions, like you had to sell the meta for that week. There's usually a product that if you sell that product, you get way more points, which helps you do better in the game. So everyone pretty much is going to be building that. You don't have to, but you're going to be significantly behind if you don't. So actually, it's not impossible to earn Gala 2, but you do have to place in the top 1,200, which means you have to be a pretty good player and probably have NFTs to do that. I think you can crack the top 1,200, but probably not much beyond that without NFTs. And like I said, the game's concept is actually really unique and fun. It's just a different kind of game, and I really appreciate that. I'm not much of a first-person shooter type person. I like playing those once in a while, so I think that's great, but definitely don't have any criticisms about the game itself. But now for some of the bad stuff, the things that frustrate me. It is actually barely out of beta. In fact, it's not out of beta. The game has never been out of beta in its entire existence, which has existed for like 3 or 4 years now. It's been around a while as a play-to-earn game, and then a play-to-own game, which did not have any earn feature, which we will talk about in a minute. And this is one of the problems that I just have with Web3 games in general. It just seems like there's no incentive to ever finish your game. You can just exist in a beta state, keep minting NFTs, and keep generating money. So what's your incentive to ever finish the game? And that seems to be the case with Town Star. Like, there's been bugs that have persisted since they launched the Godot version that have not been addressed yet. One of the key features in the game is that when you build a building, you usually have to tell it to craft something, and you usually know it has not been turned on because they have little Z's coming out of it, like show that it's sleeping. That does not function properly since May. It's almost September, and they still haven't fixed that bug in the game. It's kind of ridiculous. There's just, in fact, when I'd say when they first switched to the new Godot version, it was basically an alpha build. I mean, it was almost non-functional. It was so bad. So that's a big frustration. Earning is still turned off. It has been turned off for over a year now. And we were told originally that the earn would go back on the day that Godot went live, which it did not. It still is not on. They're not even really talking about it. I think there's a new light paper coming in that's supposed to outline how earn will work again. We already had one of those. It was originally you earned in Town Coin, which you could then exchange on some DEX somewhere and get Gala or get US dollars or whatever. They eliminated Town because they realized that was not working. And Town, I think a lot of the industry, I think, learned from this, because the Town economy just collapsed because basically there was nothing you could do with it other than turn it around and flip it for money, which is what most people were doing. Well, when you do that, that's what happens. The chains are really messed up. I have a Gala chain, a Geary. On my account, I have a Gala chain, a Geary chain, and an ETH chain. And how they all interact and work together is still kind of a mystery. So I have Town that I need to convert to Gala, and every time I hit it, it doesn't work. So that's another thing that's really frustrating. There's just too much tech, and it doesn't work well with each other, and they really, really need to simplify that. And then I want to talk about the overpriced NFTs, because it's just ridiculous how much they're charging for these NFTs, especially when the game functionally is still in beta and has at times been unfunctional. Like, it would just freeze for no reason, or you get the spinny ball of death from the Town's version of it. So it'd be a spinning T instead of the spinning beach ball that Mac users are familiar with. Frankly, to be charging hundreds of dollars, or back in the day, thousands of dollars, is just ridiculous. And then one other thing I want to talk about too is the communication. And that kind of goes back to this, because when people have complained about some of these things, they usually get shut down in the comments. They're told they're being negative. A lot of people are banned from Discord. Like in Warlord has been banned from Discord for pointing out the flaws in Town Star's logic. If it was just a free game and they weren't charging anything, fine. But I think then, you kind of leave them alone. But when you have these many flaws with a game that people are paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to play, it's kind of ridiculous to not listen to their complaints, especially when the biggest problem with their communication that I have is that they stood up there when they turned earn off and acted like they were upset that people ever expected to earn anything on Town Star. Why on earth would you spend thousands of dollars? And I'm not kidding. These NFTs were costing at the time thousands of dollars to buy an NFT to play a farm game on your computer, unless you expected to earn something, which is absolutely what they were selling. And now they tried to turn around after they turn earn off and say, oh, well, that was never the point anyway. Yeah, give me a break, dude. It's interesting too that all their games that have come out since have had a very different earn mechanism. And also, now that the NFTs that you buy don't earn anything anymore. So the only ones that will earn are the old ones. I don't think there are plans for new earning NFTs. I think that's just done. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting. Like I said, I really, really enjoy the game, but I'm also very frustrated on how they approach this, the communication from the team, and just how all these bugs just never seem to get fixed. It's really, really frustrating. I think a lot of players are really frustrating with it, and I hope they improve, because I actually really like the game. I have been watching this channel where this guy kind of breaks down all these Web3 games and how bad they are. And a lot of them, I think he's probably right. But he talked about Town Star very briefly and dismissed it. And I was like, actually, I think you missed this one because I actually think it is a pretty good game. It just needs, but it also has a lot of flaws. So I didn't argue my point too strongly because it does have flaws. And I think if they fix those flaws, this could be one of the better play to earn games. That's just my opinion.